I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Well, here we are on another awesome Monday, Mentorship Monday with Michelle and Maren, where we talk about all things spiritual, channeling, and all kinds of other wonderful topics. Hi, Maren, my favorite Maren in the whole wide world. How are you?
Oh, my favorite, Michelle. I am doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm just realizing how nasally and stuffed up I am right now. I don't know why. Maybe somebody watching has a stuffy nose. I don't know. But I just stuffed all up. It's really weird. But I'm
That
doing
is
good.
weird. Wait, what chakra is that related to? A stuffy nose? Is that your third eye? Would that be? Is your ear
Well,
meridian?
actually, the throat chakra.
Oh
The throat
gosh.
chakra. Right. Which we've been talking about a little bit prior to this, and that's so I pick different incense, right? Different sticks to light for my sessions. And I always ask, I've got the crown chakra, the throat chakra, um, the root chakra, and I don't think I have the sacral chakra or the solar plexus right now. But anyway, I asked which one I should light, and today came up as the throat chakra. So there's something going on with me that I need to let out, whether it's to myself or someone else, but I'll figure that one out later. Um, we have a lot to talk about today. We have a
We
lot to
do.
share. And I know that you did a channeling
I
that a
did.
couple weeks ago, right? And we didn't get a
I
chance to
did.
go to it last week, but we're gonna
Yes.
we're gonna do it today.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna
I've
do it
not
today.
heard it. I have not heard
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm so excited to share this. Really cool about manifestations and soul plans. But first, I have to tell you the cutest story ever. So, I was uploading our video this past week, and my little 7-year-old son, who is a first grader, and like all he watches is YouTube, saw me uploading the video to our YouTube, and he was like, "Oh, 1,000 followers. Good job, mom." I was like, thanks. And then he was like, did you go on air and say ka-chow? And I was like, no, I didn't do that. So I just wanted to like get on air and be like, ka-chow. We
Good
have 1,000.
chow.
Yeah.
And
And he said,
thank you to all the
he's,
new followers because that is awesome too. Yeah.
I, I know. And he goes, you can't say anything again until you get to 10,000. And I was like, okay, well, I will manifest 10,000 so I can get on there again and say ka-chow.
Okay, so that's the next goal. Manifest 10,000 community friends because
Yes.
definitely is a great community that we have going here for sure.
It is the
Yeah.
best. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's why that story came to my head because that's what I think that your throat chakra is about. It's just about expansion and
Yeah.
getting our message out and having this is so weird, but I keep seeing like a chalice or a bowl as like just like we're like a collection source where people
Yes.
can come and
Yes.
have feel feel togetherness, get answers, explore, expand, but like we're like
Yes.
that collection point, if that makes sense.
I agree. It makes absolute sense. I love it because I've always felt like I wanted a place where everybody could go and gather everything that they need,
Mhm.
and gather things that maybe you don't know that you need until
Mhm.
after you hear it, but a place to come to really be yourself, to gather that information so that you can take that into your own life and then empower yourself with it to go out there and do whatever it is that you
Mhm.
want to do or are here to do.
And like ask questions that like
Yeah,
no question is too silly, too basic,
that's
too,
right.
I always felt like I couldn't when I went to church, I could never ask questions because I was like, "Oh my gosh, if I ask a question, then they know I don't know this." Like, and I'm supposed to know
Yeah,
everything. Like, or
yeah,
you're supposed to have a good basis of like Jesus and what he's done and like like I always felt like I couldn't ask questions. But here, nope, you can be like, what's What's
Yeah.
this? What's that? Why do we do? What's the
Yeah.
purpose of life? What's,
That's right.
what's a chakra? What's a
Yeah.
meridian? What's
That's right.
energy? What's quantum physics? But don't expect me to answer that one. But
But it's so true because, so many people are awakening and awakening. I was listening to something the other day and I love the way this guy described it. He said, on the economic forum, it's called the Great Reset. In many spiritual circles, it's called the Great Awakening or the Awakening. And through a lot of religion, it's called like the rapture. Politically, it's like the revolution. So there's so many things that are happening right now, but the biggest thing is it's transformation and change. And when we go through transformation in our life, big questions come up, little questions come up. Uh, Everything is coming up. And so this is an
Mhm.
opportunity for all of us to um, put away judgment of ourselves and really take that idea of judgment and set that aside. And this is a place where you want to be vulnerable, be vulnerable. We all have our stories. We all have our hard stuff that we've been through, are going through, or will go through. We're all in different stages of life, but we have one thing in common is we feel that inner knowing that there's something about our story, our lives, that we're able to transform, we're able to change, we're able to grow, and we're able to help others, whether that is in our own families, in our communities, or whether that is in a bigger platform. It doesn't matter. It's also valid. So all questions are valid. All people are valid.
And
And
all feelings are valid too.
all
Every
feelings are valid. Yes.
every feeling that you feel, it all has a purpose and a place and a reason. And
Yes.
um, and I think that spirituality can help you figure that out.
Yes.
So
And how
important.
how many how many of you listening feel like you've had an awakening and you feel like you're having another awakening right now?
Me.
Me. Yeah. Big time. Big time. So if you're in that club, you are not alone.
Yeah.
So things are popping up for all of us. And
Before we got on, I was
yeah,
telling Michelle all the different things that have been happening to me this week, and I'm like, I think I'm having another awakening. I didn't even
yeah.
tell you this one. I think you were talking last week about the spiritual flu,
Mm,
and Tuesday I was like, oh my gosh, I was just like, don't feel right. I feel achy. Like I don't feel right. Um, and I had some tea with manuka honey, which
yeah,
is like antiseptic and antibacterial, so it could have been that. But I just drank it and I had like a 20-minute nap and I woke up and I was like, wow, I feel amazing.
yeah,
So I was like,
yeah,
was that a spiritual flu? Like, because that was so short lived. And,
yeah,
I really thought I was going downhill and I was going to be calling off work the
yeah,
next day.
yeah.
So,
A
so
a
yeah,
lot of
these,
a lot of these little uh like different bodily function, upset stomachs, sore throats, a lot of those type of things I've been hearing people having like brief, like it just came on this afternoon and I laid down and rested and it was gone. I've
yeah,
been hearing that a lot.
huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So spiritual flu then,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
which is
So I'm
exciting because
ex-
I feel like it flushed something out. So
well, and
yes,
that's the
I'll take
thing,
it.
whether it is actually coming in as a virus, because keep in mind, like there's a lot of intelligence happening here within the cells in the body. So when the body needs to purge, and where our energy body, because everything energetic is happening before it does in the physical, just like with manifestation, right? So everything's happening energetically, and then we go through the process of, and it doesn't all happen in this linear form, but energy, emotional, mental, physical, right? So we purge in whatever area it's going to give us the best benefit. And so for many of us
Hmm.
right now, we're having a lot of physical purging and emotional purging because our emotions are so directly connected to the body. So we're having so much purging that if your body is susceptible, your immune system susceptible to picking up a virus, then if that's the best way for your body to purge, that is how it will happen. But it doesn't always happen as a virus, as we know, just like what you experienced. That wasn't a virus, but it was mimicking that same energy. It still feels that way in the body. Now, if you don't listen to that, if you don't pay attention to that and you just push yourself, you will burn out. You will get sick. You will need more time to recover. So it's really important to pay attention to that right now. When you have days where you might feel a lot of exhaustion, or you're just not feeling right, or you start to have a headache, do what you can to tend to that. Listen to that. And your body is speaking to you, and your emotions are speaking to you and telling you something. Pay attention to it. Do what you can to nurture it and be compassionate to it. So giving yourself that manuka honey and tea and laying down, taking a rest was absolutely important and compassionate and necessary so that you felt well and you could continue on. And that's flow, right? So some of us are going through bigger periods of that. I know a lot of people have been sick for quite a long time. But if your body, often when you have that illness, there is a a need that's being like that illness is giving you something else. There's a benefit that's happening in your life in another way, even if you can't see it right in this moment. But it's fascinating what a lot of us are experiencing, but it is speeding up, and the shifts are big. So,
Yeah.
hang in there if you're going through something right now. Just keep working through it, because you will come out the other side, and there is a shift that occurs. That's what's happening, is you're going through this process of shifting of the energy that is moving out, the denser energy that is within the physical body, so that you can be lighter.
That's just what I was going to say, Michelle. So I feel like, because you're like, I don't remember what you just said, but whatever you just said, that is like my awakening. That's when you're referring to the awakening, that's the way I feel. It's like my shift feels like I'm more centered and more
Yes.
grounded and more like a sturdy boat. Like things come in and they just don't rock my ship anymore. Like I can stay
Right.
grounded through it and stay like
Yeah.
very unaffected. Like
Yeah.
someone will say something to me or about me, or some change will happen at work and everybody's like, like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
like just worry, fear, worry, fear, worry, fear. And then I can look at it like it's not even happening to me. Like it's not even
Hmm.
affecting me. Like I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, well, I'll do this now. Like, like
Yeah.
it's not,
Yes.
there is no worry
Yes.
fear, which is, I think, what rattles us so much. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or there's like no attachment to like maybe my self worth, or I don't know, but I just feel so lighter. But it
Yes.
does come with this like expanded feeling as well. I don't know. It's so weird that like I can physically feel exactly
Yes.
what you're talking about.
Yes. And that is the other thing too, because as we are lightening, as we are releasing these dense energies, which always have a emotional component to it, and some of those emotional pieces have been coming off really over a period of time. We may not have fully realized it until we come up to something, as you're saying, like an event, something that might have rattled before that's not rattling the same. So,
Hmm.
but really that transition's been happening for a while. So we are detaching from maybe some conditioning or beliefs. We are detaching from the old story. And we're
Yeah.
also, so you think of that on the mental plane, on the subconscious, because the subconscious is where we manifest from. We fuel it with emotion, but we're actually manifesting from the subconscious. That's why when you hear about reactions, why it's like, well, look at your reactions, look at what you're putting out into the world. So what that really means is, let me back up and pay attention to why I'm reacting this way. What is causing me to react? So if somebody does something to you and you react without thought. So let's say it's a very impulsive reaction. Well, when you're impulsive, you're reacting from that auto drive, that subconscious auto drive. And yes, there's other factors that can play into that, but it's an autopilot reaction. It's like that emotion comes up, I can't contain it. So somebody makes me angry and I blow back at them. Somebody cuts me off in traffic and I speed up and give them the finger. So that is that reactive energy. Well, it is that energy, the subconscious, that's pumping out into the universal computer. It's that energy because that's what you're putting out. Even though in your mind says, well, I didn't do anything wrong. That person cut me off right in traffic. They shouldn't have done that. I had to do that to let them know that don't do that. You could have caused an accident, right? So that's what the conscious thought is, but it's the energy behind it. Because when we are impulsive, there is a buildup of some emotional energy that has happened over a period of time that we're using that reaction to release it, to get that energy out. So, like everything else, nothing is really happening like that person may be mad, it's all their fault, and I blasted on them. It's a buildup that has been occurring. And so the person that you blast at is usually not the person that is really responsible for your reactions, but they were the outlet. So that energy for manifestation is that subconscious. So as you are releasing in your body, you have the ability to have more clarity, more space, and feel grounded enough to slow things down so that you can pay attention to that. Right?
Yeah.
Because when we're not grounded, when we're in that fight or flight, when we're in that go, 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 it's hard for us to even see that that's happening or to know where to start. That's why starting with grounding and meditation and slowing our thoughts down, practice being present, all of those things are so important because that's what leads to speeding up the releasing. That's what leads to allowing more light in, releasing, having more clarity, because everything works together. And then that allows you to understand the subconscious. So when somebody in traffic or whatever does something, when you have had clarity and you've been dealing with the emotions, you're not going to have that sudden rush of anxiety and panic or that anger build up or that hot feeling that comes into you to feel like you need to teach them a lesson or tell somebody off, because you're not running subconsciously in that energy. And the other thing is when you're manifesting and you're working in that way and you're not building that up, you're not going to keep having those situations, because those situations that happen around you are happening because you're vibrationally attracting them to help you release so that you can what? So that you can be in that knowing of your subconscious, so that you can be in a sense of control for yourself in your own emotional response and balance. And that's really how it works. That's the inner work. That's the process. And all the good stuff comes in with facing the hard stuff, facing the uncomfortable stuff, which are all weaved and tapped into our experiences and our emotions and a little bit of some other things too. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. I was having like lots and lots of downloads as you were saying that about
Yeah.
my own life. So yes, no,
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
made sense.
It's really fascinating, like starting
Mhm.
to really get into all the energies behind why
Mhm.
things are the way they are in our reality. And when we can really claw back and just kind of go backwards into things and understand it and slow it down, because that's the most important thing. If you're going to start anywhere and you feel that chaoticness, but you're trying to clear, you're going through a lot, slow it down to these small pieces and look at your reactions to things. You want to know where the inner work is for you. You want to know where the
Mhm.
blockages are for you. For anyone, look at your inner thought and look at your reaction to the circumstances in your life. And you follow those reactions, you can go down that path of understanding yourself and seeing where your energy is affecting what it is that you want. Because often when we've not had the knowing or the awareness of our subconscious, we've not been able to understand why we are behaving this way in the world, or we feel this way. We want certain things, but it's not happening. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of information.
No, it no, it's amazing. So okay, kind of with like what you want and what's not happening, that's kind of like what that listener's question was about, manifestation versus soul plan, right? So we had a listener who had a question about, um, like her question was rooted in poverty. So what if your soul plan is to experience poverty, but you're trying to manifest wealth? Then what has the upper hand really? Like what will happen? Will you be able to manifest wealth, or will you stay in poverty because that's the soul plan that you chose? So that was the,
Right.
what I felt like. That's what I got out of that question.
Yeah.
So I did a little meditation and auditory, what's it called? Automatic writing. And okay, so did I share whatever the other one was on air? I don't remember what it was about,
Yes.
but
Yes.
okay.
I can't remember what the
And
topic was, but yes, we did do one.
okay. So I felt like the voice was like a male voice, and it came in on the my right side, which is my male side.
Yeah.
And this time it was the same male voice. So
Okay.
I don't know if this is my guide or a different guide, or like, I mean, I know what kind of like the voice of my guide sounds like. It wasn't Eric's voice. So
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know who's been like giving me all this information. So I guess I probably should ask. Um,
I was just going to say, ask.
yeah, yeah.
Ask and see what comes back.
Um, yeah. Anyways, so I feel like that person's here right now too.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay, so this is what I got. The soul plan is the path that you choose. Yes, if you choose to be poor to create an awareness, then you may certainly long for abundance. However, if you were to be poor and manifest abundance in that life, that would create many opportunities for learning because you would observe both aspects in the same life. So I really liked that. I thought that was really important. Like when you had, and I saw like a sword image, like when you're getting both sides of the sword, you're going to learn more than when you're getting just one, like when, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You may find that you experienced more happiness when you had nothing and found that possessions left you unfulfilled. So you're learning a big lesson. You always have the opportunity to attract what you want because we have free will. However, things may be put in your path. If you are poor and stay poor, you may be unaware of abundance and manifestation. If you know it exists and you believe in its power, you will overcome. See, lack of abundance is more than not having, it's not believing it's out there to get. So, your true lesson may be on self worth or self limiting beliefs. If someone, which I want to like stop right there. So, I just like love that so much because lack of abundance, right? If you know if you know in manifestation and you believe in manifestation and you're not getting the abundance that you've been manifesting, your lesson might not be about, I have to experience poverty in this life. Your lesson is probably about self love and self limiting beliefs. And that is the lesson that you need to overcome in order to attract this abundance in your life. And I just feel like that
Yes.
is so critical in, like, okay, well, I think that this is my soul plan because this is why I'm here. And it's like, nope, you're completely wrong. Like, you need to believe in yourself and you need to have, like, you need to
Yes.
work on, and this is where healing comes in, work on those self limiting beliefs and work on self love and which is all
Yes.
rooted in the heart chakra. So working on your heart chakra would be really important. And your solar plexus, your heart chakra and your solar
Yes.
plexus, because solar plexus is knowing your power. So that those
Mhm.
would be some things that you would want to work on. So I just felt like, oh my gosh, that just like, to me, my mind was blown. I was like, of course, that makes sense. And
It
then they go
really
on to
makes a
say,
lot
if
of sense,
someone,
yes.
yeah, if someone wanted to know poverty through their lifetime, then they may incarnate in a place that can support a lifetime of poverty where there's no desire to leave, and no knowledge of, like they said before, no knowledge of manifestation, um,
Yeah.
and energy, such as a third world country or a remote tribe. So,
Right.
so if you are in this life and you have access to this video, you have the ability to create whatever you desire, whatever
Yes.
abundance you desire, because you
Yes.
have you have the knowledge and you
Yes.
have access to it and you have free will. You just have to believe in yourself and you have to work through. Oh, this is where
Yes.
I was telling I was telling Michelle earlier, like the karmic. Remember, this whole week I've been
Yes.
thinking about karma,
Yeah.
and so you have to work through this lesson. And I was like, karma is not this, like, in my personal opinion, it's not like you hurt me, so now I need to be, or I hurt you, so now I need to be hurt, or
Right.
I put someone in poverty, so now I need to be in poverty, or
Right.
I was talking to Michelle earlier about like an abusive relationship. Like I abused someone, so now I need to feel like what it is feels like to be abused. It's more of like a lesson that you need to learn, like self-love and self-respect and boundaries. And those are your karmic lessons. So you put yourself in that abusive situation so
Right.
that you can learn those lessons. And once you have fully learned that, fully learn how to self-love, fully learn how to do the boundaries, you'll leave that relationship. Your karmic ties are over.
Yeah.
And so karma to me now seems more like a lesson. So your karmic
Yes.
lesson in poverty versus abundance is the self-love and self-limiting beliefs. And that's what you need to learn.
Yes.
And once you've learned that, your karmic lesson is fulfilled and you can move on to
Yes.
abundance.
Yes. Yeah. That's amazing. That's so good. That
Yay!
is awesome. That is awesome. Beautifully done. Like that is just amazing because that makes so much sense. And just to everything we're talking about, that it's the rebalancing of the self, the rebalancing of our soul, our soul lessons. And this lifetime is very intense for that. You know, um, the other thing is too, is I absolutely love what came through, um, talking about those that are here to experience the, the lessons of poverty, to experience, when you said the third world country, and in situations where this information is not available, it makes a lot of sense because I know for myself for a long time, I really felt that, what about all these other people in the world that don't have? It really affects us emotionally. We look to what can we do? How can we help? But also carrying that guilt as well. But to help us understand and to work through that is, you know, there are souls, and we had this conversation too. We were talking about earlier today, Maren, you and I were talking about how in the awakening process, so many of us that are aware and we have this um, more awareness around ourselves, what's happening, the world, and yet there are many people in our families, many people that are we can pick out in our community that we know are very rigid to this is what I believe. I'm very happy living in this life. Like this is, and what Spirit had taught me was yes, and there are people here that came to have that experience exactly, and they're here holding space, they're grounding a certain energy that helps many of us learn our lessons. so that we can then expand. Like there's so much of an effort from our side of spirit into our incarnation, so that when we really look and we put judgment as to what's happening. And so there's no difference in my mind is putting judgment as to these people that are experiencing this on the other side of the world. Well, they don't have the information because they're here to have that specific experience.
Yeah. And I feel like it's probably something within them too. Like, there's the people that are like, well, that's just how it is. And then there's the people that, no, we need to get this fixed. Like if you have like, I don't know, poor service, like phone service, and someone's like, oh, it just always drops calls in that spot. Or like, oh, the internet's always bad at 7. It just is what it
Yeah.
is. And then
Yeah.
you have the person that's like, no, we're going to switch carriers. We're going to switch internet providers. We're going to
Right.
I feel like that would be too. So like if you're to experience poverty, you might just be that person like that. This is what it is. This is the way life
Yeah.
is. And like,
Yeah.
there's just no like care to go up.
Right. Right. Right.
It's almost, and it does seem to carry like an energy to that too, right? When
Yes.
the people are like,
Yes.
nope, this is the way it is. And then
Yeah.
there's the people that are open to like, no, there's always more. There's always better. There's
Yes.
always, and then they seek out the change. And
Yeah.
it's like a personality and it's an energy.
Yeah.
And so,
Yes.
yeah, if you are born with that, like it is that is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's just,
Yeah.
there are those people out there.
Yes.
So
Yes. That just makes a whole lot of sense on many levels. It really does. It really does.
we all
So
know
that
those
was
people in
great.
life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really great. And at the end of the day, it just feels like a blanket of everything is okay exactly as it is. And we all have the ability to continue to make things better for ourselves that then helps others because it's a ripple
Mhm.
effect. And every lifetime is a bigger ripple effect and ripple effect. And we could get into a whole discussion about karma and everything, but which I think we should, because you brought up a really good point when we were speaking earlier about karmic lessons and what that really is. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good topic.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of downloads on that this week. I don't know why. There was someone that I think I was listening to a podcast. And I've heard Channeling Eric say like, karma is not like tit for tat. That's not what karma is. But then I hear
Right.
like in a lot of other podcasts and religions and or traditions that it is tit for tat. And so it was kind of like, well, what is it? And then someone said, um, I still had some karma attached to that or something like that. And I was like, some karma. So you can gradually lose karma, like I don't know, it just kind of
Right. Right.
sparked like an image and a thought and
Right.
like a perspective about, I don't
Right.
even know if you're like meant to do that. And
Right.
I was like, oh. And so then I kind of started getting on this whole, like, I think it is more about the lesson that ties
Yeah.
us to a situation that someone might
Yeah.
consider karma.
Yes.
And that it
Yes.
is once you have learned that lesson, right? And because channeling Eric too, I know you guys talk about how like, or this was the first time I heard it was through channeling Eric, was, if you want to be, I'm going to go back to the abusive situation. If you want to know what it feels like to experience abuse, when you're up in heaven, you're planning your life, you're going to go select this person and say, hey, can you fill this role in my life? And the
Yes.
person, because they love you so much, and it's so painful to have such a horrible role, right? They agree to it. And so it's not like when you do that, then it's like, well, then why would you get punished for something that you knew was going to be really hard and you have pre-agreed to it before you've come to earth? Like that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense that then, okay,
Yeah.
now I've been an abuser, so now I have to be abused. But it does make sense if you're looking at it from like hey, I want to experience this so I can grow my lesson of boundaries and self-love and even probably self-limiting beliefs for that.
Mhm.
So I can grow those karmic lessons or learn those karmic lessons through this
Right.
situation, And then of
Right.
course that other person probably needs to learn those situations as well. So I do
Yeah.
get where they say everyone's been everything and,
Yes.
every role in life,
Yes.
because there's guilt and shame, I'm sure, lessons from being the abuser in some situations,
Yes.
hopefully.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're learning to
No,
manage
absolutely.
emotions and emotional regulation and um, empathy and um, boundaries too. Like it's got to limit your actions.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that's kind of how I kind of came about that. I don't know, and I'm sure and this is where it comes to that energy thing. Like maybe I've just had my awakening. I heard that message before, and I was still teetering on receiving it, right? Because there was
Yeah.
all this
Yeah.
other messaging that was coming forward.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because now I'm at my new level, I get to
Yeah.
take in that information and hear it and finally understand it to a point where I'm like, I believe that to the core.
Yes.
So
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's great. And as you're saying that, I just heard, and everybody, like, welcome to the new level, because everybody is on a new level.
that
Everybody
moon, man.
watching is on a new level. Yes. Yes. What the moon was the best thing that you ever said. Yes, what the moon, because that is nuts. And there's still an energetic surge that you can feel from that. It's still at it. It's still happening.
Yeah.
Before we go, we got a couple housekeeping tips to put up here, points. Um, what was one? Oh yeah, two. So this is from me particularly. If you're watching and you're waiting for a new schedule confirmation change, date changes, higher self readings, any of that kind of stuff, hopefully I will have all of that set this week. So I'm working through November and December's higher self readings. So just if you're waiting for that, you know where I'm at with that. And the other thing is, of course, Maren and I have an awesome class coming up on February the 25th, I believe. It's 25th or 24th. I can't
Yep.
remember.
February
It's that
25th.
weekend. 25th. Okay. And it's the deep dive of the chakras and the energy system. And it's going to be so good because we're going to go over what, Maren? What are we going to go over?
Oh, well, we're going to go over the chakras, but why I love this and why I think this class is so important, just kind of like we were talking about in um, our show today, is just
Yeah.
we all have these karmic lessons and we're all learning and we're all trying to heal, and knowing and understanding our chakras to help balance our chakras is going to help aid in our lessons, because all of these karmic lessons feel are held in our chakras. The energy is
Yes.
held in the chakras. And
Yeah.
so learning how to balance your chakras, clear your chakras, open your chakras, align your
Yes.
chakras, learning what ailments are connected to your chakras,
Yes.
emotionally, emotional issues that are connected to your chakras will help you in your healing journey. So I think that it's
Yes.
a really important class for everyone to take so that they can
Yes.
um, just kind of get as much assistance as they need for their healing journey,
Yes.
or if they just want to
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Yes. No, it's gonna be amazing. There's some handouts, some information that everybody's gonna have to follow along. Um, a meditation that you'll get privately so that you can, connect it to everything that we're learning so that you can use on your own and enjoy and repeat to work through your stuff and your lessons and your chakras. And of course, it's the live event, live workshop with Maren and I. So there's still spaces available, and just go to the Healing Heart website, the Healing H-ART, which is under under the links below. You can see all the information there, and yeah, it's going to be a great time. And this is the kickoff class to Maren and I's whole. We've got a whole platform of new things coming out, so this is our kickoff class to this one.
Yeah.
So
I'll
we
try
can't wait to
to
see you
add
there.
a new link too, directly to your registration.
Oh,
I'll
great.
try to do
Okay,
that. I'll try to link
that
it
would be
so it'll
great.
say chakra class, click the link, and it should take you
Yes.
right to the registration page. We'll try to do that.
Yes. Yes,
It'll be
absolutely.
my afternoon activity, figuring out
Okay,
all that
perfect.
technology.
I know that's that little part that's kind of taken that little bit of a weave to get through. Let's not joke about my techie issues and everybody that
I'm leaving the blind
is,
over here. It's bad. It is
yeah.
definitely bad.
I'm working through it. I'm getting better. But
Well,
on that note, we should probably wrap this one up and get on with
yes,
the rest
thank
of
you
our
so
day.
much. Thank you for allowing me to share my automatic writing. Thank you for the question. I
Yeah.
read the question and I was like, oh, I want to know that too.
No,
What,
that was a great question. That was a great
yeah,
question.
very
Really.
good.
And keep them coming. Keep them coming because Maren's got lots of channeling in her.
I do need
She's
the
going to bring
practice.
out
I do
lots of
need
it.
the
Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
No, I think that's
So,
amazing.
and I'm always void of questions in my head. So please
Yeah.
send them my way.
All
So
right.
thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Maren.
Have a
And have a wonderful
wonderful,
week.
yep, a wonderful week. All right. We'll see you
Okay,
next time.
everybody. See you next time.